What's up, everybody? A lot of great basketball games today. Um, Iowa, Indiana was an amazing game. Villanova versus Creighton was an amazing game. I love defensive games like that, and I thought that um, Villanova's Colin Gillespie just took over the game at the end. Not a super athletic guard, but was incredible. There were a lot of really good games that I enjoyed watching today. One of the teams that I am very thoroughly unimpressed with is the Duke Blue Devils. Um, I'm gonna be just admit to, just to not I'm not gonna act like I know this team super well or anything. I've only really caught a couple of their games this season, but just from what I have seen, I do not think that this team is that good at all. I do not think they are equipped for a postseason run. And my immediate reaction to this Virginia Tech Duke game that I just watched is that Duke is not going to win a national championship game this year, so Coach K is not going to be going out with a championship. Um, so I think the first place that I want to start with of why I'm unimpressed with this team is because I just feel watching this team that they really do not have anybody that I could feel like just really wants the win. Like I don't feel like they really have anybody that's a true leader on this team in terms of the players. And you could even kind of argue that too with when Coach K's um, his last excuse me, not his last press conference, but in his last game uh, at home, and then he gave a speech afterwards. The team, they were just kind of, at least from what I saw, they were just kind of like joking around on the sides, didn't really seem super invested in it. And then you kind of see this game here against Virginia Tech, where Virginia Tech playing with a ton of heart. Murphy was playing super hard. Couture, another guy who I thought played great the whole game. I mean, this team is really, and you could tell this just listening to the stories about them. There are a bunch of guys that transferred in from mid-major schools. They don't get an opportunity like this very often, and they're going after it hard. Duke, I feel like, and I think a lot of this is kind of the vibe that I get from Banchero as well, is that they don't really seem to really be, I don't want to say that they're not invested in winning, but they just don't feel that they, at least especially in this game against Virginia Tech, I don't know where the fight was in this team. They looked like they gave up in that second half. So I just want to go real quick before we get into more stuff about this Duke team. But Paulo Banchero, I do not understand how this guy is rated as a potential number one overall draft pick. Most boards I see him going are around the third pick now. I think Jabari Smith has pretty much overtaken everybody as the number one pick. Chet Holmgren, is in there as well. So those two, I think, are going to go 1 and 2. Banchero is projected to go 3. But I watch Banchero play, and I think of Ben Simmons. He does not really seem to be. He's not a guy that seems like he's demanding the ball. He's got some talented moves in terms of his vision, his ability to drive to the basket. He can make some shots as well. I'd give him that. But I think Banchero is somebody that is the reason that he's good in college is because he's physically bigger than a lot of these opponents. Like Virginia Tech, for example, he's not the biggest guy, but he is definitely the most physically imposing and skilled for Duke, and he should be in a position where he's demanding the ball late in the game, trying to take it over. But a lot of possessions, he's just kind of he just doesn't really seem to be that involved in the play. There's stretches where he just disappears. And I think these are significant concerns for me if this is going to be a guy that you're going to build your franchise around in the NBA. He did this against North Carolina as well. I just do not see the competitive fire in this guy. I do not think that he really blows you away with a ton of great skills either. He's somebody that he's got some pretty he does have a nice repertoire of skills. I do give him that. He does have a decent shot. He does have decent playmaking and ball handling ability for somebody that's 6'10" like he is, but he doesn't wow you with anything. And I see him, and I think that this guy is I honestly, I just don't see it with him. I think he's going to be a bust. The guy that I am way more excited about is Jaden Ivey. I don't think this guy is getting nearly enough recognition. And in the games that I've watched Jaden Ivey play, which is only a handful as well, that guy is got so much potential. He kind of, I don't want to make this too much about Jaden Ivey, but I think Jaden Ivey, he's a guy that he's got so much raw potential and he has great vision. I just feels like sometimes he tries to do too much for his team, but he can do everything. He's a great defender, a great shooter, great passer, explosive. I love Jaden Ivey from what I've seen so far. Banchero, though, I am not impressed with him. I think he's going to be a bust. So that leads me back to the Duke Blue Devils. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think they kind of emulate a little bit of what Banchero kind of is in that I just don't get a sense of competitive fire from this team. So Duke in this game shot 4 from 20 from 3-point range, which is below their average. Not a great shooting game at all, but I don't really know who on this team is a dependable 3-point shooter other than Wendell Moore can have some good shooting games that I've seen, but he's not really a typical ball handler type of guy. Trevor Keels, from what I've seen, I just don't see much in him either. I think that he is he does have a nice shot. He's got like a nice little lefty game going, but he is not a knockdown shooter. He does not seem like somebody to me that is going to be a great defensive physical presence or got the speed and quickness to keep up in the NBA. So I don't really think that he's somebody that can really be very dependable either. With this Duke team, they just seem very bland. They don't really have anybody that I think stands out as somebody that you have to watch. Anybody that's just going to jump off the page with something spectacular. So I think that the real point of this video that I want to make is that I just think that any of this hype that Coach K is going to go out winning a championship, I think is not going to happen at all. I am not impressed with this Duke team, and I think that he is going to go out with 5 championships and not 6, like people are saying. So do not let the last season of Coach K hype convince you into picking this team in your field of 64, or now 68 when they've added these first 4 rounds. Yeah, they are not advancing in the NCAA tournament to the final. That is not going to happen. All right, that's all I've got for this video. See you guys next time. Bye.